Alright, so boom, my boy's graduating right now from his tech program, and he got a job. He's in cybersecurity, so he's talking. Shh,
Tell your story. You are not just a job seeker. You are a problem solver, a protector, and a professional. Employers don't just want technical skills. They want people who can think.
My boy's representing the Nigerian community. Boom, we started, bro. I can't wait for this shit to be over so we can look back at the accomplishments that me and my friends accomplished this year, man. Y'all peeped that after this. Well, I'm not done setting up my living room, but it's getting there. It's getting there. But let me talk to you guys about a couple of things that's going on in my life right now. And so I told y'all that I lost a job. I got another job. And I'm going to tell y'all how it's going. Stay tuned. Alright, boom, let's get started. Alright, so boom, welcome back. So, quick updates. This whole video is going to be about me talking about how I got shot and also how I lost my job and also how I got another contract, and then I also quit that contract because a couple of things, right? So, job wise, so as you guys know, it's my last video. I was sick and I had a lot going on with school and everything. My grades came out okay so far. I'm liking it except for one class. All A's, by the way, all hundreds except for one class. I got an 89 in, but I got to get my grade up on that one. Now, fast forward, right? So I lost the job due to the whole federal funding that they lost when it came to nonprofits and all that stuff. So they cut back on budget. They gave me a severance or whatever. But while they were talking to me with HR and everything, you know how you have like those conversations, I'm sorry, unfortunately, blah, blah, blah. I was still sick, so I'm trying to fast forward the conversation. Like, we know where this is going. I'm not finna be like, oh my God, please don't take me, don't let me go, blah, blah. It don't matter how much crime you finna do, it ain't changing nothing, whatever. I'm okay with it. I've came to terms with it. And also, I don't look at jobs like that anymore. My perspective on companies is a little different now. I could talk about that in a whole different video. But we went through the process, signed the paperwork, waiting on my service. And me personally, I also wasn't bugged because I had a new job lined up literally the week after. Funny enough, I started a new job, but they were asking for a lot. I was like, you know what, maybe it's the first week and I'm just going through a whole lot of like requirements and me being on camera from like 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. That blew me. Like, that blew me. It's like they want you in office without you being in office, but at home where you're sitting on a camera asking permission to do things, making requests and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. But I was like, you know what, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just being a little too, I want to use the word bougie, but like, I'm not adjusting to a new environment. And you know what, let me give it some time. First week went by, I'm like, whatever. Second week went by, I'm halfway through the second week. I'm like, you know what? This ain't for me. This really ain't for me. That Thursday, I expressed to them, it's okay. Like, I don't need this. I do need a job, but I don't need this kind of environment. And I expressed to them in other ways, of course, where HR wouldn't like put me as a never hire, but whatever type thing. But I left that job because it drained me. And I realized in the process of me being sick prior to me losing that job, my health mattered more. I cared more about my well-being, my peace of mind and everything than me trying to make a dollar. It's okay. It's actually okay. I think I do well with savings. I think I do well with just making sure that I am able to pay my expenses and my bills without having to rely on one company to handle that. But I expressed to them, it's actually okay. I'm going to go ahead and send y'all equipment back. Don't worry about it. Appreciate y'all. And, I'm at an age where peace of mind matters, Peace of mind and my health matters. So, boom. That was that. That's what happened with that. And let's fast forward to the whole me getting shot thing. So, it was a while ago. I'm going to say 2016 to 2015, one of those years. It was during training in the Marine Corps. If you guys don't know, I have a military background, serving the United States Marine Corps. I love my Corps. I love everything about my branch of the military. But if you guys are trying to get into the military, let me know. I don't mind advising in that area. But anyways, we were going through training, night training, and it's one of those trainings where everybody had like civilians would call it night vision goggles or whatever. And while we were going through training, it's at nighttime. It's like, it's a whole, was it just a platoon? No, it was like, I think the whole battalion was out there. Yeah, it was the whole battalion out there. It was out in the woods, and we were shooting downrange at nighttime, right? And in the process of it, the way it is that like everybody is facing one direction. We might be a little slanted or whatever, but everybody's facing north or everybody's facing south. So just protection wise, and there's a line that you don't cross when you are shooting down range, right? So you don't want it in a way of somebody's muzzle. But the way the training goes is that there might be like 15 different lines and like 10 people in each line, right? So the way the training goes is that as you are walking down, shooting down range, somebody else is behind you getting ready to load up and then put rounds down range, right? And as you're turning and going to the back of the line, you're putting your muzzle down, like the front of the gun down, the front of the firearm down, putting it on safety, and you walk towards the back, and the person behind you lifts up their firearm and starts gunning it down range with their goggles on. The thing about this training is you can't be distracted. You have to make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on. We went through a couple of rounds, but you know, we're guys, we're Marines, we're gonna hee ha there and there, but we're still trying to maintain a level of like accuracy when it comes to just putting rounds down range. But one of the moments that this happened, it was, I don't want to say, how do I put this? Like, it was interesting, right? So I'm putting rounds down range, boom, boom. Everybody's getting into a cycle. At first, you're not as fast as you want to be, but you're just trying to get the rhythm and slow as steady, as smooth, slow as smooth, and smooth as fast. So you're trying to create that repetition where it becomes natural to you. Putting two rounds down range at a time, or we're not doing 3-round bursts. 3-round bursts is when it's just like it's just a studded three rounds being shot out. You put in 2 to the chest, 2 to the chest, 2 to the chest. So boom. And as I was going, I want to say it's like we're already like an hour into this, and after like we usually like we'll run out of mags, we'll go back and reload, stuff like that. So I want to say like an hour into this, everybody's gotten like too complacent would be the word. And I'm putting rounds down range. I'm a little nervous though, because like you hope that everybody does what they're supposed to do, but there's a level of fear that you don't want somebody to be distracted, because you might know how to handle distraction while you're driving. For example, does not mean somebody else might know how to handle distraction while they're driving. And the expectation for people to handle things the way you would handle this. Even sometimes we make mistakes as we're, distracted. So it's like that, not with a firearm. So I'm walking, I put my rounds down range. I'm also swapping out my mag. So I'm taking out my mag, putting my muzzle down, and putting my mag down while I'm changing my mag and turning around. But the person behind me didn't actually get to notice that I'm still changing mags as I'm turning. And he was just ready to put rounds down range, because I guess somebody tapped him that, hey, it's your turn. And as I'm still turning, he's putting his firearms up. And keep in mind that we have our goggles on. So there's sometimes that you might have a blind sight, or if you don't have it on correctly, or you've been chatting or whatever, you're just trying to get it done. As he's putting his muzzle up, I'm still turning, and then the round grazed my neck. Zoom. I felt something hot, and I felt the pop. But I didn't actually feel the actual round. I just felt like it felt hot, and it felt like something warm coming down my neck. And I'm like, by the time I realized what it was, I want to say like a second or two had gone past. I don't know, that 1 second felt like forever. It can't be a second or two. That 1 second felt like a bit longer than a second. So I felt a warm liquid coming down, thick liquid coming down my side of the neck or whatever. And as soon as I felt it and I realized what's going on, and I looked at him and he's looking at me, I dropped to a knee and then pointed my firearm back at him. And at that point in time, it became more of a standoff between me and him or whatever. And it became like some of the instructors came out there. We were watching, but by the time they also noticed it too, you saw like it became a moment where everybody ceased firing, and then one of the instructors kicked me, and the other instructor pushed him to point the firearms away from each other type thing. And it turned into a full-blown like going at it verbal, like if you've been around Marines and military members, we're like sailors. We curse a lot, so it was just full blown, you know, words exchange and everything. And I was upset. I wanted to fight. I didn't care. I held that grudge. I wanted to fight till I finally got to see him one on one. Well, actually, it wasn't one on one. That's how I met some of my friends too. It wasn't one on one. I ran into him and his buddies outside of training or whatever, and we got into it. I don't care. Like, you try to unlive me because you weren't paying attention. I want to remind you of something. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that shit. Do not try to. You don't handle firearms and be distracted. You know, and it goes to me. So it was a harsh reality and a harsh lesson for me too to take it more seriously. It don't matter how used to something you are. That's when complacency comes into play. And I'll never forget that. Like right here, I have like a little. It feels like part of my neck is like, how do I put this? Like bunched up together. I got it stitched or whatever, and it just grazed. It grazed like the skin and the flesh, but it didn't cut through. It was just blood. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy. I was grateful. It was a very It was a rude awakening when it comes to like firearms and dealing with other people in firearms and stuff like that, and also firearm safety. Part of what initiated me going into being an instructor to emphasize the importance of being safe when you're holding firearms and stuff like that. Understanding like the actual danger of a firearm. But yeah, I hope that wasn't a long drawn out story. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I want to do like a furniture video because my place is getting done up. It's not fully done yet though, but I'll let y'all know on that video when that time comes. So love you guys. Like, subscribe to the channel.